Leaders are at the end of the backstretch now and about to put a lap on Jody Ridley. They come off of corner number 4. It's still Neil Bonnet showing the way. Labonte is second. Then Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Bodine, Bobby Allison running up there in front, along with Ricky Rudd, then Tim Richmond, Bill Elliott, and Harry Gant. Behind him, Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace in car number 27. 21 laps have been completed out of 500. The leader still trying to put another lap on Jody Ridley. Now they move to the outside of Ridley in turn number 1 and get the job done. Dale Earnhardt drives car number 3. Mike Waltrip is also having a bit of a problem as he's dropped that car to the inside of the racetrack. And there's smoke coming out of the left side of the car. Is that an engine problem or tires or what, Benny? Can you tell?
That is an engine problem because the smoke is coming from the exhaust pipe. And also Morgan Shepherd at the same time is coasting on the back straightaway.
It does not look good for Morgan Shepherd winning his 4th NASCAR race in a row. He won at Atlanta in Winston Cup. He won at Martinsville in Grand National, and he won in Grand National here at Bristol yesterday in an outstanding performance. But he is not in the car that he drove to victory lane in Atlanta. He's in the number 64 car, the Langley Racing Ford, and he has already been in for a pit stop in the early going of this one. There are the first 3 as we have completed 25 laps. The leader, Neil Bonnet. Running second is Terry Labonte, and third is Dale Earnhardt.
Neil Bonnet came to Bristol and tested 2 days, came back 2 separate times, testing his automobile because Neil Bonnet needs to get his team going. If anybody needs a victory in Winston Cup racing, it's Neil Bonnet and his Budweiser crew.
Neil has not won this year on the Winston Cup Trail and certainly would like to put a win under his belt here. Terry Labonte is staying right with him, though, at car number 44. Labonte started from 4th position. Now, you see Dale Earnhardt going high on the racetrack and smoke coming from the right side of that car. And, Benny, that's something we're going to be seeing a lot today. And that simply indicates that they're scrubbing off rubber on the right side of the car.
Exactly right. Dale Earnhardt was smoking the right rear tire, which means the car is a little bit too loose. In other words, the car is trying to spin out just a little bit as he goes through the turns.
Jeff Bodine in car number 5 is still running in 4th position after getting off to a very poor start when the green flag finally came out, but he is maintaining the position now, although Bobby Allison in car number 22 is right behind him. A good early showing for Bobby Allison, who has come up from 10th starting position to run in 5th.
Terry Labonte going to look on the outside of Neil Bonnet. Found nothing out there. Falls back in behind. You know, he was the only non-Chevrolet in the first 8 spots, the first 7 spots. Looks like he's got the Oldsmobile going very well today.
All right, now, at this time last year in the race and at this time yesterday in the race, we had already seen some spins and some crashes, but we haven't yet. Might the drivers be taking it a little more careful out there at this point because of the possibility of a wet racetrack?
I would think that the rain certainly had a bearing on the way that these fellows are approaching it. Also, it is a 500-lap race, and yesterday it was only a 200-lap race. Makes a big difference.
The leaders are putting a lap on Butch Miller in car number 08, his first Winston Cup appearance. Of course, he is a veteran short track driver. Neil Bonnet maintains the lead now, and he is approaching a slower car, the number 17 of Doug Hebron, as they come off of turn number 4. Bonnet going to the outside of Hebron and putting a lap on him.
Neil Bonnet putting a few car lengths on Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte seems to be losing a little bit of momentum off the corner the last couple of laps.
Neil Bonnet, of course, from Hueytown, Alabama, driving for the Junior Johnson team again this year. He is currently 17th in 1986 Winston Cup points. His best finish of the year so far has been at Richmond, where he finished 7th. He also had a top 10 finish at Rockingham in the 500 there, but in the other 2 events so far this year, Neil Bonnet has fallen out of competition.
First 3 cars. Again, great race. Labonte goes up the racetrack. Earnhardt looks on the inside. No, he can't make it.
Earnhardt now looking to the inside of Terry Labonte, but again, Labonte pulls away as the cars come off of the corner and go down the backstretch. Earnhardt, one of those who competed in the Grand National race here yesterday afternoon. And so, of course, was Jeff Bodine, who crashed hard into the first turn wall after an incident with Larry Pollard here on the main straightaway. However, Bodine Bodine was able to walk away unhurt from that crash. There was also a crash earlier in that race yesterday involving Kenny Burks, and we did not update his condition when we left the air yesterday, but we understand that Kenny Burks is okay. There is Darrell Waltrip, who is Neil Bonnet's teammate, and Darrell Waltrip is a driver never to be counted out. He does not charge toward the front, but is always there when the checkered flag drops. He is currently 11th.
He's dropping back today. Not a good start for Darrell Waltrip. He will probably adjust the car and get it going. This is a fellow that's won like 7 out of the last 10 races here. This is not the place that he wants to be. Got problems. It looks like they're going to have to do some work on pit stops.
But again, this is a long race, and if you do lose a lap, you can make it up here at Bristol. The leader continues to be Neil Bonnet, with Terry Labonte running second and Dale Earnhardt still running in third spot. As we have observed Earnhardt in the early stages of this race, it would appear that perhaps the car isn't handling all that well. Look, he almost is sideways, completely sideways, coming off of the fourth corner.
Wow. Earnhardt, what a great job he did in saving that automobile.
Still maintain the position of third. He has about 8 or 9 car lengths between himself and Jeff Bodine, who is running in fourth position. 42 laps have been completed in this 500-lap race, and we have had no yellows to this point. Let's hope we can run the entire race without a yellow, because yesterday's Grand National race was just filled with accidents. In fact, they ran about the first 30 or so laps without a green lap. Dale Earnhardt running third, Labonte is second. The leader is Neil Bonnet, and we'll be back with more of our coverage of the Valleydale 500.
There was some concern whether Darrell Waltrip was having a problem or not. Well, I've checked with Junior Johnson, and he says yes, Waltrip's car is pushing very badly, but there's nothing they can do about it until the first pit stop or the first caution. Gentlemen?
Pushing, of course, means that the car doesn't want to go around the corner the way that Darrell Waltrip would like for it to. He's running a higher groove, it appears, on the racetrack than most everybody else. The leader is his teammate Neil Bonnet in the number 12 Budweiser Chevrolet. He's going around the number 35 car of Alan Kulwicki on the backstretch. There are 22 cars currently on the lead lap with 52 laps completed.
We were talking about Darrell Waltrip and the car pushing. That's exactly the opposite of Dale Earnhardt. His car is loose. In other words, if Darrell Waltrip were to smoke a tire, it would be a right front tire. Earnhardt smokes the rear tire. There is Bill Elliott, car number 9. Tim Richmond, car 25.
And Bill Elliott is in 7th position. Tim Richmond in 8th at the moment. And it's been a very busy weekend for Bill Elliott. He competed also in the IMSA race at Road Atlanta. This weekend, he finished 4th in the GTO race, and he divided his time by private plane between here and Atlanta, and really wasn't here very much for practice or qualifying. He was, of course, concerned about competing in the race yesterday, but Bill Elliott right now running in 7th position. Tim Richmond right behind him. Car number 25 is 8th. Now, Dale Earnhardt has moved around the second place car of Terry Labonte, so Earnhardt is now second and Labonte is third. The lead continues to be held by, of course, Neil Bonnet. There is Tim Richmond in car number 25, who lost an engine in a practice session on Friday and was not very optimistic on Friday when we talked to him. However, he qualified well when he did get the car going, qualified third fastest at 113.498 miles an hour. There is the leader, Neil Bonnet, who qualified at 113.545 miles an hour. Speaking of qualifying, this was yesterday when Willie T. Ribbs tried to qualify for this Winston Cup race here at Bristol. However, the speed just wasn't fast enough. Driving the Dygaard car, Willie T. could not get it up to speed and did not make the 32-car starting field. On Friday, he crashed that car, and so it's been a very tough weekend for Willie T., who is still trying to work his way into Winston Cup racing and become, I believe, the 3rd black driver in history to make a Winston Cup field.
Bob, I can't think of a tougher racetrack for any race driver to come up for his first attempt than Bristol. And it doesn't get any easier because next week, Willie T. goes to Darlington, South Carolina to try to qualify for the Trans-South 500. It is going to be very difficult for him the first 2 races. Then he goes to North Wilkesboro. He gets a break. That's a racetrack he probably will enjoy.
This is the battle for second, and these guys are going at it tooth and nail out there. Dale Earnhardt in number 3 and Terry Labonte in 44. Last lap on turn number 2. Earnhardt with a very wide line, and again got the car a little bit sideways, and Labonte got underneath him, but Dale was able to keep the position. Earnhardt and Labonte here in second and third.
One reason that Terry Labonte wants by so badly is that the 12 car of Neil Bonnet is pulling away from him. And Labonte realizes that he wants to get by Earnhardt because he is a little quicker right now.
It's just about a half a straightaway lead for Neil Bonnet. There is Earnhardt going high once again and allowing Labonte to sneak underneath. A smoking car here on the main straightaway is Davey Allison, number 95, and that appears to be
looks like a wheel bearing or something like that.
It's smoke anyway from the tire area, the right front tire area of that Davey Allison car. They're at it once again, almost side by side, down the backstretch into turn number 3. Earnhardt taking the car way high again, and Labonte keeps his low.
That's tough. Labonte right now has a little bit quicker car, but Earnhardt, you know, if Labonte gets by, that's a spot, and he don't want that to be so easy. Let Labonte work for it a little bit, and Terry's having to work for it.
While all this is going on, Neil Bonnet continues to set the pace and lengthen his advantage, as a matter of fact, on Earnhardt and Terry Labonte.
Earnhardt right now has found him a groove on the high side of the racetrack. He likes the way the car's sticking up there, and he's running a little bit faster up there than he was down below. We can see right now he has a car length or two on Terry Labonte. The problem with that is that he may end up with some tire problems. He's getting the grip is too good up on top of the racetrack. He better be careful not run too many laps up there.
We understand that a car making a nice move up through the field is Rusty Wallace, who is now in 8th position after having started 14th on the grid. We're watching right now this dice for second position involving Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. Earnhardt has won the last 2 races here at Bristol, and he is using a much higher groove on those corners than everybody else. And you can also see tire smoke on the right side of that car. There is Dale Earnhardt, and right behind him, Terry Labonte, formerly from Corpus Christi, Texas, now living in the North Carolina area. Still no yellows. 70 laps have been completed. Bonnet passing Tommy Ellis in corner number 4, and we asked Neil Bonnet about the discipline that you must have at a racetrack like this.
Neil, you say the key to winning here is discipline, and yet you have also said in the past that that might be your weak point, being undisciplined.
I'm going to be disciplined. If somebody beats on that back bumper, I'm going to beat on them. It's, you know, I feel like I know what I need to do going into this race, but if somebody wants to come up here and hammer on my race car, I'm going to hammer back, and that's the problem. I've got to control that in this race. I'll take a little bit of pushing and shoving, but I'm also going to dish it out. Just hopefully I can restrain myself enough to be able to have some race car left.
Neil Bonnet from Hueytown, Alabama, one of those drivers who certainly needs a win. The Junior Johnson team, of course, known for winning, but Neil Bonnet has not visited the victory circle in quite a few races. And oh, look at this. He hits the wall in corner number 2. It looked like a tire went down, Benny, and he just headed straight for the outside wall.
It sure did, exactly. It looked like he blew a right front tire, and there's some heavy, heavy damage to that automobile. And, you know, Neil Bonnet doesn't need this. He did the same thing in Atlanta, blew a tire the last race 3 weeks ago. Boy, I tell you, what a terrible blow. I hope Neil's okay this time.
Well, the car is against the